I spend a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain, sleet, and mud. In 95, I helped tow your moving trailer. In '05, I helped you get out of a ditch. Yeah, I know I'm a bit rusty, and sadly in '09, it was sparks from me, your handy chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Sparks from dragging chains can start a wildfire. Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Good morning, Central Texas. Welcome to Law Talk. I'm Attorney Ed Laughlin. Happy 4th of July today, guys. 244 years ago, our forefathers signed the document, July 4th, 1776. It was the unanimous declaration of those 13 United States of America. Here we are 244 years later, and I just would wonder what those men 244 years ago would think about the state of our union in 2020. We have certainly have a lot of problems, and not that we can't overcome them, but we have got to reverse course on some of the things that are going on right now if we're going to survive just a whole lot longer, in my opinion. You know, this coronavirus has kind of got everybody. It's just a weird 2020. You got to admit. I mean, coronavirus and spreading all over. It's in Texas pretty significantly right now. A lot of people getting it. The numbers of deaths are certainly going down. It's not the as bad a virus as what it had been in New York City and some other places. So, there's certainly is a lot of hype, and the Texas governor certainly has fallen prey to some of that thinking that he's got to do something, or the state's going to go down the tubes, and so he has put out this declaration. And quite honestly, I'm going to follow what I can when I can. Probably won't be following it to the letter. I came into East Texas yesterday, did not wear a mask. You don't have to wear a mask in a car. And, of course, if you read the governor's order, you don't have to wear a mask anytime if you read it very carefully. Because, again, as I mentioned last week, really all you have to say is, I can't wear this mask. I have a medical condition that would cause me real problems if I wore this mask. And nobody can ask you any questions about it. The American Disabilities Act forbids anybody from questioning you any further about that. They just have to take your word for it, folks. And so if you don't want to wear a mask, if you can't wear a mask for whatever reason, that is your out. Now, do I recommend not going around without a mask? Well, no, I don't really recommend that. I'm going to wear a mask when I can. We're getting together with a few people today for lunch and activities, and we're going to shoot some guns. We're going to shoot some fireworks. We're going to play some games. We're going to just sit down and just visit with friends and family, and out on a farm, and we'll be outdoors. We'll probably have some mask on, some not. Excuse me. By the way, that cough, I've got a cold right now, and I did go get tested for antibodies yesterday. And the reason I did, not because I had any symptoms or anything, I just wanted to know if I had coronavirus already. Because if I had, then I wasn't going to be as concerned about passing it on to someone else. Now, I did get my results back yesterday, and I'm not sure if it's fortunately or unfortunately, but I will say that I was negative for the antibodies for coronavirus. That means I have not come in contact with it, and I have not had coronavirus. In a way, I wish it had come back positive. That way I would have known I'd already had it. And some of the concern that a lot of people have about getting it would be over. But sadly, that is not the case. So I did test negative for the antibodies. I have not had a test for the actual virus itself. Probably won't have one unless for some reason I begin to have symptoms of coronavirus. So you guys, if you're out there, you're going to be, going out to eat, going to a barbecue, going to visit friends. I would suggest that you distance. Don't do a lot of hugging. Don't do a lot of handshaking. Wash your hands frequently. Use a hand sanitizer. And just be careful because you don't want to pass this thing along, even though it's not the deadly illness that the media has hyped it to be. Yes, it is deadly. Yes, we had 40 or 50 die yesterday in Texas, but it's not as deadly as the news media, and especially the liberal news media, are trying to point it out. Our numbers to call, by the way, if you'd like to call us, ask a question, make a comment, 1-866-895-4442. That's 1-866-895-4442. And I suspect we're getting pretty close to a break, but I'm going to be asking you now and during the next segment, I would love to know what you're doing for the 4th of July. The big parade in Belton's been canceled. There is a citizens parade, and I was going to get Shane to talk to us about that during this second segment, a little bit about that, how to get involved with that, and that may be already going on. I don't know the timing of that. You're going to have a barbecue, you're going out to shoot fireworks, you're going to just kind of what's going on in your day. And I understand the Willie Nelson's 4th of July picnic's going virtual this year. That's what a lot of things are doing. I'm in East Texas. I'm in Canton, Texas right now. First Monday Trade Day is going right now, and I can guarantee you, usually you can't socially distance at that event. There's so many people there. You just can't do that. But there will be a lot of people down there at First Monday. Now, I'm not going to be down there. I'm going to be at our own event. But a lot of people have, prominent people have come down with coronavirus this last week. Herman Cain tested positive and was hospitalized this last week. A name that you'll recognize very quickly, Cam Guilfoyle, has tested positive. But Donald Trump Jr. has tested negative to the coronavirus. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Law Talk.
Divorce attorney Ed Laughlin.
Is your marriage on the rocks?
Have you been wanting to get a divorce but just haven't found an attorney that you can afford? Well, your search for an affordable attorney is finally over. I'm attorney Ed Laughlin, and I've been helping Texans get fast, inexpensive, hassle-free divorces for 25 years. I offer reasonable fees and always allow my clients to pay out their fees in payments that they can afford. Call me today at 773-8399 or toll-free 1-800-492-2589 to schedule a free confidential appointment to get started. The first visit is always free.
What are you waiting for? Call Ed Laughlin today at 1-800-492-2589 or visit Ed's website at edlaughlin.com. That's 1-800-492-2589 or online at edlaughlin.com. That's 1-800-492-2589. Let Ed help you with all your legal needs. You'll feel a whole lot better. See Ed's ad in Names and Numbers.
Aaron's Gun Shop and High Cap Adventures. If you've decided to carry a handgun for self-defense, you better know what you're doing. If you don't, you better learn fast. Not only fast, but thoroughly. Aaron's Gun Shop and High Cap Adventures fills the void between a Johnny wannabe and a person who has been properly trained in the proper handling and use of a firearm. Call me, Matt Petros, at 254-697-4721 or email me at aaronsgunshop@gmail.com and set up a class or seminar to get you started on the road to proficiency with a firearm for self-defense. Go to our website, aaronsgunshop.com, and review the High Cap Adventures page. We have seminars to cover most forms of firearms training. Call 254-697-4721 or email me at aaronsgunshop@gmail.com to get more information on how to get started with your training. The time for games is over. Reality starts now. aaronsgunshop.com.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work.
Sorry, I'm late.
Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working.
Who, me?
Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, Central Texas. You're listening to Law Talk, and I'm attorney Ed Laughlin. It's a great 4th of July, and we need to celebrate this 4th of July because, folks, come November, if this election doesn't turn out right, this may be one of the last ones that you and I get to celebrate that we really are happy about. It's a critical election, and I'm telling you, man, if Biden gets in, there's going to be higher taxes. He'll shut down the economy again dramatically, way more dramatically. We will have no economy. And of course, he'll just be the puppet of whoever's pulling the strings, because poor Joe Biden doesn't have the ability to really have any good independent thoughts. And I'm just hoping that the American people will realize that and know that come election time, because the debates will prove that out very easily and very quickly. And let's just hope they do that. Now, Shane, you got a microphone on there, I hope. Love to hear from you. Tell us a little bit about how people can listen to us and watch us today. And I've got something else to ask you after that.
Okay. Well, we are streaming live at logicnation.us, as well as social media, Facebook, YouTube, and Vimeo at Logic Nation Radio, Twitter and Periscope at Logic Nation USA, in addition to our flagship station, KTEM 1400. So that's all the information you need to get a hold of us and watch the show or listen to the show. As well as you can call in 866-895-6442.
And I have banned fireworks there in the studio, Shane, just so you know.
Yes, we have not shut off any fireworks.
All right, great. Well, tell me a little bit about what events are going on in the Central Texas area that people can go to still.
Well, basically everyone around the area, or all the cities and municipalities, have canceled fireworks. So even here in Temple, the wildflower fireworks have been canceled by city officials. So there's no fireworks tonight. Now, when I was at home last night, our neighbors are shooting off fireworks, but as far as like city-sponsored fireworks shows, there are none around the area. However, there is a citizens parade in Belton this morning at 10 a.m. As many of you know, the city of Belton has canceled the official July 4th parade because of the coronavirus and all that stuff, and they've elected to go virtual. However, Stephanie and Jonathan Griffith have organized a citizens parade that will go along the normal parade route in Belton. However, because it's not city-sponsored, there are no closed streets, and there are no permits that need to be pulled, no fees or anything to enter the parade. And because of that, everyone needs to abide by the normal traffic laws. The traffic lights are still going to be there. The flow of traffic is still going to be there. But you can decorate your car and just get in line and drive down with them on the normal parade route. And, that's what's going on today, really.
Well, and I haven't heard, what about the rodeo? That's always a big event for the 4th. Are they still having the rodeo, or have they canceled that also?
As far as I know, the rodeo is still going on. That has not been canceled. Now, they are requesting everyone to wear a face mask and to socially distance like you normally would in any other business. But as far as I know, that has not been canceled.
Okay, interesting. And what is Shane going to do for the 4th of July?
I'm going to go home and take a nap.
Wow, okay.
I've been working all week, and I'm just kind of tired, so I'm going to go home and take a nap.
I understand going at it 7 days a week can tire you up a little bit, right?
Yeah, that's right. So I'm looking at the rodeo, at the Bell County Expo, and according to them, it is still going on.
So I guess since that is an indoor building,
yeah,
they're only probably selling half the tickets that they normally would, or something.
Yeah, they're at 50% capacity, just like all the other ones, all other restaurants and stuff like that. They are at 50% capacity.
Interesting. All right. Well, thanks for that information. I appreciate it. Did you get a chance to watch Trump last night at Mount Rushmore?
Oh, I did, and it was great. I actually, when Weekend Logic comes up after your show, I have Trump clips out the wazoo, and and the fireworks were great, and with in the backdrop of Mount Rushmore, it was absolutely a sight to see. I wish I were there live, but you wouldn't buy me a plane ticket, so I had to just watch on TV.
Well, that was amazing to see Air Force One flying over Mount Rushmore before they landed. That was beautiful. And then the Blue Angels, the Navy's Blue Angels, roared overhead just before President Trump came in to speak. I mean, and anytime you see that, I've been at some events where they had big Army, Navy jets or Air Force jets fly over, and just a very, very moving experience. And, it's funny. You look at Fox News and their coverage of the president's speech, and it's one way, and then CNN, guess what?
They didn't have it.
They didn't like his speech.
Imagine that, right?
I don't even understand how they could possibly feel that way about that speech. Now, I know they have a totally different opinion on the America they would like to see, but heaven forbid if we go the route they want to go, we won't have much of America left.
Well,
and trying to knock down all of these statues and destroy Mount Rushmore, and it just, I tell you what, that Mount Rushmore needs to stand forever. It's a huge tribute to our forefathers, and nobody's perfect, and you can't build a perfect nation. You just won't be able to do a perfect nation. Men and women are imperfect people, and they lived in the time that they lived in, and they had slaves, and there were other things that they would have and do that we might not agree with, but certainly those types of monuments need to stand forever. And all right, with that, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Law Talk.
Bankruptcy attorney Ed Laughlin.
I really hate to see families suffer, especially when there's something they can do. If you have too many bills to pay, the truth is that filing bankruptcy may be the best thing you ever do. I'm not just saying it, let me prove it to you. That's why I offer a free initial consultation. Call me, because you shouldn't just have to sit there and worry.
Call 1-800-492-2589. The phone call is free, and so is the appointment. You're going to feel a whole lot better.
Art Coons, the owner of A&C Firearms in Heidenhammer, Texas, is an avid gun enthusiast and enjoys helping all of his customers to find the gun that's perfect for them. With a large selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns, finding the right gun becomes easy. Go to A&C Firearms, located at 5819 U.S. Highway 190 in Heidenhammer, or call them 254-983-4417. Pistols, rifles, shotguns, ammo, knives, and a whole lot more. A&C Firearms, 254-983-4417.
Here at the Logic Nation, we often encourage you to be logical. Now, I've got two more great words to live by. Get supplied. With Studio L as a center point, Smith Supply will provide you with everything to clean anything and deliver it on time within 150 miles. That means we can deliver cleaning supplies to any facility, any business, including hotels and motels, even industries and factories, anywhere in the Killeen, Temple, Fort Hood Metro, Waco, and Austin. No matter where you are, we can ship to your order. We also provide janitorial services and building maintenance in some areas, and our Temple showroom and our online catalog are open to the public. We're here to save you money and get your supplies to you on time, every time. So, get supplied. Since 1961, we're Smith Supply, 254-773-3592, and online at smithsupply.com.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Hey, y'all, Jeff Foxworthy here. Now, if you've ever found yourself repeating the same thing over and over for 75 years, you might be Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
That's why I'm filling in for Smokey to switch things up, because there's a lot more to say. And I should know because my grandfather was a firefighter. And one of the things he taught me is that the people that love the outdoors the most are often the ones accidentally starting wildfires, which means always BYOB. No, bring your own bucket to the campfire. And be extra careful with things like burning yard trimmings. Don't just walk away, or chances are you might be starting a wildfire. So for the love of the outdoors, go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
And welcome back, Central Texas. You're listening to Law Talk, and I'm attorney Ed Laughlin. I was reading more about this Mount Rushmore event. Boy, I tell you what, that would have been a great event to go to, not only for lots of reasons. The weather was, I'm sure, very nice. We've been to Mount Rushmore one time, and I recall the weather. It was just beautiful weather, nice and cool. But just to see the interaction of the protesters there and also the folks that were supporting the president. And, the protesters, they try to block things. They try to tear things down. And matter of fact, there's a lot of troopers on the ground all day today and this weekend protecting different sites, national sites, and statues and things like that from someone that might try to deface or destroy those things. And there were quite a few protesters that were arrested, about 20 that were arrested after refusing to leave a police-imposed deadline to leave the area. They were blocking people trying to get up to the area where the president was going to speak. And, I tell you what, honestly, I wish someone would call and explain to me how this, what I consider unpatriotic activity, is indeed patriotic and, is the thing that people ought to be doing in regard to our country. I mean, we've got George Washington, father of our country, Thomas Jefferson, the author of the Declaration of Independence. Teddy Roosevelt is up there, the person that signed orders creating the national park system and just huge amount of area that to preserve forever and ever. And then, of course, the final president on Mount Rushmore is Abraham Lincoln, the Republican president that signed the proclamation to free the slaves, the Emancipation Proclamation, and how people could be angry with those four presidents is hard to believe. You know, I saw something this week. I mean, it's so ludicrous what's going on. The realtors now are taking the word master out of the phrase master bedroom. So if you have a home, they can no longer say the master bedroom is, 12 by 16 or something. They just get, all they can do is say that what the different sizes of the different bedrooms are. And it's really gotten to the point where it is very, very ludicrous that we would allow these far left fascists to rule and dictate what's being done in this great country. I am so thankful that the police and the governor of the state of Washington finally cleared out that bunch of hoodlums there in downtown Seattle this last week. Why they waited so long is beyond me, but they finally did, after murders and rapes and assaults that occurred down in there, that they finally did something about that. And I just think it's fantastic that they did that. I just had read something, the movie Little Mermaid. A lot of you have children that would watch that movie. Well, they're saying the Little Mermaid was a racist fish, and people are vandalizing statues of the Little Mermaid. It is just, I'm telling you, we have gone literally to Sillyville, folks, and we've got to get this thing returned. I will tell you this, if the NFL plays that Black National Anthem, they've really lost me forever. I won't watch. Now, they may replace me and some people like me with younger people that will watch the NFL, but I won't watch it. I won't support it. Those athletes can lose their money because people aren't watching. They can lose money because people aren't putting their rear ends in the stands. And, that's just the way I feel about it. It's just gotten – this whole thing has just gotten so silly. And so quickly, I might add also. Anyway, and Shane, I don't know if you've seen the new song. Let's see, what's the guy's name? The guy that sings "I'm Proud to Be an American."
Yeah, Lee Greenwood.
Yeah, have you seen the new one? Heard the new one?
No, the Colonel was telling me about it yesterday, but I haven't actually heard it yet.
Well, I tell you what, I'd like you to find that, pull that up, and I'd like to just play that during a segment.
Okay.
Here in a minute, if you can do that. It
Sure.
is just amazing. There's about 20 or so people singing that song, "Proud to Be an American," and they're from all walks of life. Some of them are military. They have on their fatigues. Others are, from the music industry and things, and they all come together in one voice. And it is an amazing song. And I'll tell you what I'd like to do, maybe during this next break, Shane, if you can find it and tell me off the air, instead of me coming on the first part of it, we'll just go straight into that song, if that's okay.
Okay.
So
I'll find it.
Fantastic. Well, anyway, so just the everything's going so crazy. And as a matter of fact, what drives me crazy, I'm going to pull this up. The CNN called, those presidents racist slave owners, that Mount Rushmore was a monument to slave owners, racist slave owners. 4 years ago, they called them the best presidents we've ever had. They extolled the majesty of Mount Rushmore in 2016. There's clips of it. I'm sure Shane's going to be playing some clips during his show, Weekend Logic. And it's just amazing to me how the hypocrisy, that's what it is. It's really hypocrisy of the news media and so many people. Bernie Sanders 4 years ago was saying what a great place it was. And now, of course, his voice isn't being heard at all anymore since he's not in the running anymore. He's been quashed by the mainstream Democrats. But, CNN, Friday described Rushmore as a monument of two slave owners, situated on stolen land ahead of President Trump's visit to the National Monument. Just amazing. And I tell you what, if you've never been to Mount Rushmore, you owe it to yourself to go. You will leave after having viewed that with chill bumps, I promise you. And when Shane plays this song, when we come back from the break here in a couple of minutes, you're going to have chill bumps, and you may even tear up when you hear this song. So I just want you to make sure you gather all the family and everybody into the room when that song starts. It's a great song. You can watch the video of it on YouTube, and the president used it last night during the speech at Mount Rushmore, and really, these things that we've got, like Mount Rushmore and the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Memorial, the Vietnam Memorial, all of the different memorials, Jefferson Memorial, are really our country at its very best. And to hear the liberals get out there and say what a horrible thing these things are, and how these great American presidents are racist, and how they stole this land that Mount Rushmore's on, just really makes me sick. And I would wish that they couldn't even bring the news media to events like that, and accept the few that President Trump would pick. So, all right, with that, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Law Talk.
DWI and criminal defense attorney Ed Laughlin.
Just because you or a loved one has been pulled over or arrested for DWI does not mean you're guilty of DWI. I'm attorney Ed Laughlin, and to be arrested and charged with DWI, the officer has to only have probable cause that you're intoxicated. It's only the officer's opinion. However, to be convicted of DWI, your guilt must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, which is a much stricter burden. If you have been arrested for DWI or any other offense and want an attorney who will rigorously defend you, call me at 1-800-492-2589 or log on to my website at edlaughlin.com. Over the past 25 years as an attorney, I've been both a prosecutor and now a defense attorney. You need an experienced attorney who will work hard to get you the justice that you deserve.
What are you waiting for? Call Ed now at 1-800-492-2589 to schedule a free confidential appointment, or visit Ed's website at edlaughlin.com. First visit is always free. You're going to feel a whole lot better. See Ed's ad and names and numbers.
Quick Wrench Automotive, your one-stop auto shop. Family owned and operated at 1402 North 3rd Street in Temple. Why go to another dealer? Quick Wrench Automotive, a full-service preventive maintenance and automotive repair center, offers a 2-year, 24,000-mile warranty on most repairs nationwide, which also includes complimentary roadside assistance. Quick Wrench also offers the best price for oil changes around at $17.95 plus tax, which includes 5 quarts of oil, new oil filter, washer fluid, and complimentary 23-point inspection. Other great deals are available on our Facebook page as well as our website, QuickWrenchAutomotive.com. Give us a call Monday through Friday at 254-935-2145 to speak with an ASE certified technician. Quick Wrench Automotive, your one-stop shop for all your automotive needs.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council. No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. To the hills of Tennessee,
across the plains of Texas, oh, from sea to shining sea,
from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless us, please bless the
All right. Thank you so much, Shane, for cueing that. I tell you what, if you can't get a little choked up after hearing that song, there's definitely something wrong with you. I can tell you that. Thanks to Lee Greenwood and his friends that put together this new edition of God Bless the USA. An amazing, amazing song. All right. Well, I've got a caller on the line. Let's go to that caller. And Raymond, you are on the air.
Yes, sir. Good morning to you, Mr. Laughlin. First of all, I just wanted to make a comment concerning Mount Rushmore. I agree with you totally on preserving that monument from now on for everybody to be able to see it 100 years from now. And if you can just imagine the technology back in them days, it's not like it is today. You know, it just amazes me, you know, them using dynamite and chisels and everything that they had to use to put those monuments on that stone. And for each one of those presidents to have the facial features of what they supposed to look like and resemble, that really is amazing to see that somebody back in them days had that much talent. But other than what I had to say, sir, I just wanted to say I agree with you 100%. Those monuments should stay there forever as far as I'm concerned. You have yourself a very good day, sir, and thank you for allowing me to come on your program and say what I had to say. And the only reason I said what I had to say is we live in a free country, freedom of speech, and isn't that great? Have a good day, sir.
It is, and I appreciate your comments, and thanks for being a loyal listener to this show, Raymond. By the way, the number to call, if you'd like to call, 1-866-895-4442 are the numbers to call. And Shane, why don't you give us a little bit of a blurb on what you're going to be talking about starting at 10 on Weekend Logic?
Sure. Weekend Logic comes directly on after Law Talk at 10 a.m. on our social media and web channels, LogicNation.us, as well as Facebook, YouTube, and Vimeo at Logic Nation Radio, Twitter, and Periscope at Logic Nation USA. And we'll be talking about what's happened this past week, in addition to what's coming up in the next week. We had a bunch of stuff going on in the news with coronavirus, and then we have the Trump-Russia hoax again, this time over intelligence. And then we have Trump's, the July 4th celebration at Mount Rushmore, and Democrats are calling that a white supremacist rally. So we have audio, going over that. So there's a bunch of other stuff we have to talk about, but that's some high points that we'll talk about coming up after Ed's show at 10 a.m.
Fantastic. We will look forward to that, Shane. I can tell you that. And I think I've got about almost 4 minutes here. I don't know if you've ever heard the full Declaration of Independence. I'm going to try to read that during this 4 minutes here, and so you can hear really the fantastic wording and that Thomas Jefferson did. He was the sole writer of the Declaration of Independence, and just an amazing intellect. So without further ado, this was in Congress, July 4th, 1776. The unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for the new future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their form of systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of a tyranny, an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, unless suspended in their operation, till his assent should be obtained. And when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend them. Can't quite finish that during this segment. I will continue with that during the next segment. We'll take a hard break for the news. We'll be right back. You're listening to Law Talk.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And, with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And, with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
I just wanna talk to you, babe. Gotta know what's going on. They don't really know you. They just don't understand.
day and all night on ClassicRockRadioHD.com.
Sweet strawberry icing. You were strolling along in Goodwill when just past that mid-century side table and denim jacket you spotted them, nestled in their display case. Miniature donut earrings. Oh, yes! Yes! Your favorite half-breakfast pastry, half-all-day dessert food, made into your favorite form of ear candy. Oh, my. Those bejeweled sprinkles have satisfied some unknown hunger within you. Shh, do you smell that? That's the sugary scent of shopping success. For this is Goodwill. And with every item you buy, you fund local job training and more. So go forth. Bring home those donut earrings. And bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, Central Texas. You're listening to Law Talk, and I'm attorney Ed Laughlin, your host. Welcome to the show, second hour of today's show, and happy 4th of July to each and every one of you that are listening to the show. I hope you have a fabulous day. You get to eat a little bit of barbecue or just whatever may be being served, maybe some watermelon. And I know we've got some cobbler, we have some pies, we have some cake. I think we're having hot dogs, and I will assume there'll be a chip or two involved in the hot dogs. And we're going to have a great time out here in East Texas. And if you're celebrating where you are, I just urge you to be cautious. We do have this virus that's out there, and we need to keep our businesses going and moving forward. We don't want the governor or anybody else shutting any of us down again, although he has shut down the wineries and bars here. And I would just urge the governor to rethink that and restrict it in some way. Maybe, have them close at 7 or something. I'm just kind of thinking out loud a little bit how those people that own those businesses that have spent a lot of money on their businesses, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, keeping those businesses open, that they be allowed to continue to operate. And I'm hoping those of you that are listening to me can contact, email, and maybe, Shane, if you could get us a phone number where we could call the governor or an email where we could email the governor, that would be fabulous, where people can let the governor know that we do not want to go backwards. We want to go forwards with the opening of our economy. And there are safe ways to be able to do that if he'll just do that for us. So, again, Shane will pull that up, I'm sure, and be able to find that for us in a couple of seconds. Before we took a hard break for the news, I was reading the Declaration of Independence, and you may have never, ever heard it, never read it. You probably have seen the document, We all have as school children and things. Sharon and I have been to Washington, D.C. and have seen the Declaration of Independence, and we've seen our Constitution, and we've seen the Bill of Rights, and we've seen the Magna Carta, and we've seen some of these very, very, very famous documents that are part of our history. And again, I tell you, right now is not a good time to go. I'm sure most of those places are closed in Washington, D.C. right now. I don't know that. Maybe they are open, but now is probably not the best time to visit there. Visit when this coronavirus is concluded, and go see the U.S. Capitol. Go see the White House. Go see the United States Supreme Court building. Go see the Smithsonian Institute buildings, and there are a number of them. Go see the memorials if there are any left when that time comes, and I do hope they are all still there when this silly season is over here in America, and go visit our national capital. It's a great thing to see. Sharon and I have been there a couple of times, 2 or 3 times, and then we got to get to working very, very hard, because 4 months from now we're going to be electing a president, and we've got a choice. And some of you may say, "Well, I'm not going to vote for Trump. I can't vote for him. He tweets too much," or "I can't vote for him. He's been married 3 times," or "I can't vote for him for he curses when he talks," or whatever your reason is. You've got the options. You've got 2 choices, President Trump and Joe Biden. And no, you may not like every single thing that our president says and does. But my goodness, when you compare it to what the alternative is in Joseph Biden, there is absolutely no choice whatsoever. It is just we've got to elect this person and reelect him, rather, and there's just no other way around that. We've got to reelect President Trump. If we don't, we are in for a very long 4 years for sure. And I would imagine people will be so fed up with what Biden has done to our country that he would only be a one-term president. So anyway, so much for that. But it's only 4 more months from right now, and those months will go by very fast. And can you imagine what this coronavirus would be like in America had the president not put together the team that he did to halt the spread, to slow the spread? And my personal opinion is he got talked into closing down the country in the early stages of this virus, and he's now at the point where some of these people that are saying we're looking at the science of this. You got to look at the science. Well, I tell you what, if you look at the science, it's hard to find it because it keeps moving. The science 1 week is one thing, the next week is something different. At one point, masks were absolutely not necessary. They were a good idea to use, but certainly wasn't something that needed to be used. And now, they're trying to say that it's absolutely imperative to wear a mask. Before they were talking about the hydrochloroquine, what could possibly be something that could slow and help people. And what happened? Then they said that it wasn't any good. And now they're coming out with that in fact it has slowed the spread. It has helped people that are very, very, very ill from dying from this coronavirus. So again, the science, if they want to say follow the science, well, yeah, we can follow the science, but you want the silence, you want it on March 1, you want it on March 15th, you want us to follow the science on April 1. You want us to follow it on May 15th? Which date do you want us to follow the signs? And so, the science is just continuously moved. And so for that reason, you can't, there's no confidence. I have no confidence in Fauci and some of those guys. And he may be a great guy, but all he's doing is giving educated guesses. And those educated guesses keep continuing to move and change. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Law Talk.
Divorce attorney Ed Laughlin. Is your marriage on the rocks? Have you been wanting to get a divorce but just haven't found an attorney that you can afford? Well, your search for an affordable attorney is finally over. I'm attorney Ed Laughlin, and I've been helping Texans get fast, inexpensive, hassle-free divorces for 25 years. I offer reasonable fees and always allow my clients to pay out their fees in payments that they can afford. Call me today at 773-8399 or toll-free 1-800-492-2589 to schedule a free confidential appointment to get started. The first visit is always free.
What are you waiting for? Call Ed Laughlin today at 1-800-492-2589 or visit Ed's website at edlaughlin.com. That's 1-800-492-2589 or online at edlaughlin.com. That's 1-800-492-2589. Let Ed help you with all your legal needs. You'll feel a whole lot better. See Ed's ad in Names and Numbers.
Aaron's Gun Shop and High Cap Adventures. If you've decided to carry a handgun for self-defense, you better know what you're doing. If you don't, you better learn fast. Not only fast, but thoroughly. Aaron's Gun Shop and High Cap Adventures fills the void between a Johnny wannabe and a person who has been properly trained in the proper handling and use of a firearm. Call me, Matt Petros, at 254-697-4721 or email me at aaronsgunshop@gmail.com and set up a class or seminar to get you started on the road to proficiency with a firearm for self-defense. Go to our website, aaronsgunshop.com, and review the High Cap Adventures page. We have seminars to cover most forms of firearms training. Call 254-697-4721 or email me at aaronsgunshop@gmail.com to get more information on how to get started with your training. The time for games is over. Reality starts now. aaronsgunshop.com.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And, with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have anybody to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Some knowledge belongs to us and us alone. The way our girlfriends walk, the way they talk, the way they touch their hair. We hold details that only a sister can know about her girls. But what about our other girls? The ones that we carry with us every day. Can we describe them when everything's right? Can we feel when something's wrong? Our bond with our sister girls gives life. But knowing your breasts can save it. Go to knowyourgirls.org for the facts you need on breast health. That's knowyourgirls.org. Brought to you by Susan G. Coleman and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, Central Texas. You're listening to Law Talk, and I'm attorney Ed Laughlin. Before we took the break at the top of the hour a little while ago, I was reading to you the Declaration of Independence that was signed 200 and I believe it was 44 years ago today. I'm gonna try to finish it now. Wasn't able to finish it during the last segment. I think I can get it finished during this segment. So here we go. We're not going to read the whole thing again. We're just going to continue with where we stopped. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. He has refused his assent to laws in the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained. And when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records, for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasions on the right of people. He has refused for a long time after such dissolutions to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative powers incapable of annihilation have returned to the people at large for their exercise, the state remaining in the meantime exposed to all of the dangers of invasion from without and convulsions from within. And aside, right now we are experiencing some convulsions from within. Listen to that very carefully. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states, for that purpose obstructing the laws for naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migrations hither, and raising the conditions of the new appropriations of lands. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing powers. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their office and the amount and payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. He has afflicted and affected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. He has combined with others to subject to us a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation, for quartering large bodies of armed troops among us, for protecting them by a mock trial from punishment for any murders which they should commit on the inhabitants of these states, for cutting off our trade with all the world, for imposing taxes on us without our consent, for depriving us in many cases of the benefits of a trial by jury, for transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses, for abolishing the free system of English laws in a neighboring province, establishing therein arbitrary government, and enlarging its boundaries so that it renders it at once an example and fit instrument for introducing the same absolute rule into these colonies, for taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering fundamentally the forms of our government, for suspending our own legislatures and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate us in all cases whatsoever. He has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. He has constrained our fellow citizens, taken captive on the high seas to bear arms against their country, to become the executioners of their friends and brethren, or to fall themselves by their hands. He has executed and excited domestic insurrections amongst us and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers, the merciless Indian savages, whose known rule of warfare is an undistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. We must therefore acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation and hold them as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, in peace, friends. We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress, assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of the right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from the allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, that as free and independent states they may have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. And that, folks, is the entire Declaration of Independence. I urge you to if you have a gathering sometime today, read it or read a portion of it to people so that they can understand where we started from, where we have come to, and especially with the issues we're having with the far left and the fascist and the socialism that is being forced upon us, that we pay very close and careful attention to that, because if we continue to be divided like this, our fear is that we as a great country will fall. All right, with that, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Law Talk.
Bankruptcy attorney Ed Laughlin.
I really hate to see families suffer, especially when there's something they can do. If you have too many bills to pay, the truth is that filing bankruptcy may be the best thing you ever do. I'm not just saying it. Let me prove it to you. That's why I offer a free initial consultation. Call me, because you shouldn't just have to sit there and worry.
Call 1-800-492-2589. The phone call is free, and so is the appointment. You're going to feel a whole lot better.
Arch Coons, the owner of ANC Firearms in Heidenhammer, Texas, is an avid gun enthusiast and enjoys helping all of his customers to find the gun that's perfect for them. With a large selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns, finding the right gun becomes easy. Go to ANC Firearms, located at 5819 U.S. Highway 190 in Heidenhammer, or call them 254-983-4417. Pistols, rifles, shotguns, ammo, knives, and a whole lot more. ANC Firearms, 254-983-4417.
Here at the Logic Nation, we often encourage you to be logical. Now, I've got two more great words to live by. Get supplied. With Studio L as a center point, Smith Supply will provide you with everything to clean anything and deliver it on time within 150 miles. That means we can deliver cleaning supplies to any facility, any business, including hotels and motels, even industries and factories, anywhere in the Killeen, Temple, Fort Hood Metro, Waco, and Austin. No matter where you are, we can ship to your order. We also provide janitorial services and building maintenance in some areas. And our Temple showroom and our online catalog are open to the public. We're here to save you money and get your supplies to you on time, every time. So, get supplied. Since 1961, we're Smith Supply, 254-773-3592, and online at smithsupply.com.
Sweet strawberry icing. You were strolling along in goodwill when just past that mid-century side table and denim jacket you spotted them, nestled in their display case. Miniature donut earrings. Oh, yes! Yes! Your favorite half-breakfast pastry, half-all-day dessert food, made into your favorite form of ear candy. Oh, my. Those bejeweled sprinkles have satisfied some unknown hunger within you. Shh, do you smell that? That's the sugary scent of shopping success. For this is Goodwill. And with every item you buy, you fund local job training and more. So go forth. Bring home those donut earrings. And bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Hey, y'all. Jeff Foxworthy here. Now, if you've ever found yourself repeating the same thing over and over for 75 years, you might be Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
That's why I'm filling in for Smokey to switch things up, because there's a lot more to say. And I should know because my grandfather was a firefighter. And one of the things he taught me is that the people that love the outdoors the most are often the ones accidentally starting wildfires, which means always BYOB. No, bring your own bucket to the campfire. And be extra careful with things like burning yard trimmings. Don't just walk away, or chances are you might be starting a wildfire. So for the love of the outdoors, go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Some knowledge belongs to us and us alone. The way our girlfriends walk, the way they talk, the way they touch their hair. We hold details that only a sister can know about her girls. But what about our other girls? The ones that we carry with us every day. Can we describe them when everything's right? Can we feel when something's wrong? Our bond with our sister girls gives life. But knowing your breasts can save it. Go to knowyourgirls.org for the facts you need on breast health. That's knowyourgirls.org. Brought to you by Susan G. Coleman and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back, Central Texas. You're listening to Law Talk, and I'm attorney Ed Lawson. A little bit of trivia here. Did you guys know that John Adams and Thomas Jefferson both died on July 4th, 1826? That was the 50th anniversary of the adoption of the Declaration of Independence. Anybody else know that besides me? Did anybody else not know that until about 5 minutes ago when I read it online? Yeah, that is the case. As a matter of fact, an interesting tidbit, John Adams refused to accept invitations to speak on July the 4th because that was when it was officially declared independence, but the Congress had voted to declare independence 2 days earlier on July 2nd. And John Adams refused to celebrate the July 4th, he thought July 2nd should have been the date that we all celebrated all through the years, and he just absolutely refused to do that. And just kind of an interesting tidbit. So a little bit of history about the 4th of July. You may or may not know it is a federal holiday. People are able to take off work if they're a federal employee. I gave my employees off yesterday, since today is Saturday. We don't work anyway on Saturdays. But Independence Day is on the 4th of July. That's what our government has established. Independence Day, or July 4th or 4th of July. It was on that date in 1776 that the Continental Congress declared that the 13 American colonies were no longer subject to and subordinate to the monarch of Great Britain and the king there, King George III, and were now united, free, and independent states. And the Congress had voted to declare the independence, like I said earlier, 2 days prior to that on July 2nd, but it wasn't declared until July the 4th. Now we celebrate, and it's associated with fireworks, parades, except for in 2020, right? We can't do those things this year, but parades, fireworks, barbecues, carnivals, fairs, picnics, baseball games, concerts, family reunions, political speeches, and on and on and on. In addition to other various and private events and public events that celebrates the history, the government, and the traditions of the great United States of America. And a little bit of background on it. During the American Revolution, the legal separation of the 13 colonies from Great Britain in 1776 actually occurred, again, like I said, on July 2nd, when the Second Continental Congress voted to approve a resolution of independence that had been proposed in June by Richard Lee of Virginia, declaring the United States independent from Great Britain's rule. After voting for their independence, Congress then turned its attention to a Declaration of Independence, which was just simply a statement explaining this decision, which had been prepared by a committee of 5 with Thomas Jefferson as the principal author. And by the way, you may have heard this statement before, but someone was asked one time, at what time and who was present when the greatest IQ ever sat down and had dinner at the White House? And a great man said that that moment was when Thomas Jefferson sat down and dined alone. That was the type of intellect that Thomas Jefferson had. And if you don't have any books about him, you need to buy some. If you don't want to buy them, rent them from the library or check them out from the library. Thomas Jefferson was the principal author. He was an attorney. He was just a brilliant man. But he wrote the Constitution, or the Declaration of Independence, along with a few other people. Congress debated it. They revised the wording of the Declaration of Independence, finally approving it 2 days later on July the 4th. And a day earlier, John Adams wrote his wife, Abigail, and said this: "The second day of July 1776 will be the most memorable epoch in the history of America. I am apt to believe that it will be celebrated by succeeding generations as the great anniversary festival. It ought to be commemorated as the day of deliverance by solemn acts of devotion to God Almighty. It ought to be solemnized with pomp and parade, with shows, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfires, and illuminations from one end of this continent to the other, from this time forward forevermore. Well, Adams' prediction was off by 2 days. From the onset, Americans have celebrated the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, the date that is shown on the Declaration of Independence, rather than on July 2nd, the date the Resolution of Independence was approved in a closed session of Congress. By the way, if you've never been to Philadelphia, I would urge you to take a visit. You can see and walk and be in the room where the Declaration of Independence was written, where it was signed, where it was debated for 2 days. And can't you just imagine what the debate and the argument was like on those 2 days as these men were trying to draft our great Declaration of Independence. The Liberty Bell is there. Ben Franklin is buried there in Philadelphia. There's a great restaurant and tavern within, just 400 or 500 yards from Constitution Hall, where many of the men that worked drafting this Constitution would go and dine and drink a beer after they've worked all day on this. And it's just a lot of great history, and I would urge you to go and visit it. And we've been. It's a great thing to go see. Go see the Liberty Bell and all the other sites that are to be seen there in Philadelphia. But anyway, so John Adams, he thought that July 2nd should have been the date to be celebrated. Well, he was off. As you know, 4th of July has been the date we celebrated. And historians have long disputed whether members of Congress signed this Declaration of Independence on July 4th, even though Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and Ben Franklin all later wrote that they signed it on that day. Most historians have concluded that the Declaration was signed nearly a month after its adoption on August 2nd, 1776, and not on July 4th, as is commonly believed. And by a real and remarkable coincidence, Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, the only two signatories of the Declaration of Independence that later served to be as President of the United States, both died on the same day, July 4th, 1826, like I told you a little earlier, the 50th anniversary of the Declaration. Jefferson even mentioned the fact. There's only one other person that signed it, and that was Charles Carroll of Carrollton, survived them. And he lived about another 6 years, dying in 1832. So all the other signers of the Declaration died prior to Jefferson and John Adams. And although he was not a signatory of the Declaration of Independence, James Monroe, another founding father who was elected president, also died on July 4th, 1831. With that, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Law Talk.
DWI and criminal defense attorney Ed Laughlin.
Just because you or a loved one has been pulled over or arrested for DWI does not mean you're guilty of DWI. I'm attorney Ed Laughlin, and to be arrested and charged with DWI, the officer has to only have probable cause that you're intoxicated. It's only the officer's opinion. However, to be convicted of DWI, your guilt must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, which is a much stricter burden. If you have been arrested for DWI or any other offense and want an attorney who will rigorously defend you, call me at 1-800-492-2589 or log on to my website at edlaughlin.com. Over the past 25 years as an attorney, I've been both a prosecutor and now a defense attorney. You need an experienced attorney who will work hard to get you the justice that you deserve.
What are you waiting for? Call Ed now at 1-800-492-2589 to schedule a free confidential appointment or visit Ed's website at edlaughlin.com. First visit is always free. You're going to feel a whole lot better. See Ed's ad and names and numbers.
Quick Wrench Automotive, your one-stop auto shop. Family owned and operated at 1402 North 3rd Street in Temple. Why go to another dealer? Quick Wrench Automotive, a full-service preventive maintenance and automotive repair center, offers a 2-year, 24,000-mile warranty on most repairs nationwide, which also includes complimentary roadside assistance. Quick Wrench also offers the best price for oil changes around at $17.95 plus tax, which includes 5 quarts of oil, new oil filter, washer fluid, and complimentary 23-point inspection. Other great deals are available on our Facebook page as well as our website, quickwrenchautomotive.com. Give us a call Monday through Friday at 254-935-2145 to speak with an ASE certified technician. Quick Wrench Automotive, your one-stop shop for all your automotive needs.
All right, everybody in the car, let's go.
What are we going to do first when we get there, Mom? Go for a hike?
Sure, if you want.
What about canoeing? Can we go canoeing too?
I don't see why.
What about a bike ride? No, I want to fish.
Okay.
I've never been fishing.
Honey, we can do it all.
How long does it take to get to the forest?
It's not.
Is it going to be long?
No, sweetie.
I bet it takes forever.
It's not that far.
Are we there yet?
Yep, we're here.
Already? No way. Come on.
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Also, find fun activities to do like boating and biking or camping and hiking, plus much more. It's all right in your naturehood. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
All right, welcome back, Central Texas. You're listening to Law Talk, and I'm attorney Ed Laughlin. This is the final segment of the day, and when we're done, we'll be throwing it to Shane. I'm going to have him briefly tell what he's going to be talking about in just a second, but let me ask you this, Shane. Go ahead and turn your mic on.
Okay.
Do you know which U.S. president or presidents have been born on the 4th of July?
No, I don't even, I can't even speculate on that.
Well, I'm the master of trivia this morning.
Yes.
It's Calvin Coolidge.
Oh.
He was our 30th president of the United States. He was born on July the 4th, 1872. And so far, he's the only president that's been born on Independence Day.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
Well,
So
you stumped me there.
What's that?
I said you stumped me. I had no clue. It was Calvin Coolidge.
Yeah. So Shane, tell us a little bit about Weekend Logic today. What you
sure.
going to be talking about?
Sure. Well, it's Weekend Logic comes on directly after Law Talk at 10 a.m. on our social media and website channels, logicnation.us, as well as Facebook, YouTube, and Vimeo at Logic Nation Radio, Twitter and Periscope at Logic Nation USA. And we'll be talking about a plethora of things, surrounding the 4th of July and the state of this country. We'll be talking a little bit about the economy and how Joe Biden would ruin it probably, and how this whole Black Lives Matter thing is the antithesis of what the founders had envisioned. And we'll also be talking about the Trump rally, or the July 4th celebration with Trump last night. He gave a great speech and a moving speech, and then the fireworks over Mount Rushmore were absolutely spectacular. So we'll be talking about all that coming up on Weekend Logic right after Law Talk.
Perfect. I look forward to that. And what do you think about the movement to change our national anthem?
I think it's absolutely absurd. I have no other comment besides that. It's absurd.
I mean, things have just continued to get sillier and sillier and sillier. I told Sharon last night, I was going to get up an expedition, and we were all going to go over to Egypt, and we're going to take a bunch of people, and we're going to take down those pyramids.
Yeah, no kidding.
They were built by slaves.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I don't understand where people are coming from. I mean, once they tear everything down and, let's say they overthrow the government, then what? Then what are they going to do? Right? I mean, then it turns into total chaos. And that's what I don't understand about people nowadays. I mean, you erase our history, you tear down the government, and then what? Now what you going to do?
Yeah, and just the changing of flags because the flags offend people, and just on and on and on. No, now you cannot have a master bedroom in your home, and it just on and on and on. It just seems like they've got a think tank somewhere, just sitting down, and all they're doing is trying to think of things that they could be offended by.
Yeah. I mean, that's really what I think, too. Everyone's offended by everything. The PC culture that has evolved into tearing down statues and everything is just become so absolutely absurd and silly. It's becoming almost comical, even though it's really not, because that's our history. What happens, when we can't learn from our own history anymore. I mean, you've heard it said that, if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you what, it's a crazy time we're in right now. And, I fear that we're not going to get out of the craziness. And this seems like this period has gone on much longer. And I do know that in the 60s we had a lot of hippies that were protesting the war in Vietnam, and lots and lots of protesters in the streets and burning things. And I just wish people that if they feel offended by something that's going on, why not, run for office and try to change from within. Why do you have to burn down buildings? Why do you have to burn police cars? Why do you have to do all of these things, destroy businesses that have been around forever and especially in your own neighborhood? It just kind of it boggles the mind of the rationale, and maybe that's the whole problem. It doesn't make sense. They are making these decisions and doing these destructive acts purely out of their emotions.
Yeah, I mean, they are. But I'm going to throw another question out there, and hopefully our audience will ponder it a little bit. History is going to look back on this time right now. They don't, all these all the people that are tearing down statues and trying to erase, our history, our current history, how are they going to think about the history of what these people are doing now? For later generations, how are they going to view us now? Are they going to see us as silly and this is absolutely stupid? I mean, that's something to think about. I mean, we're also setting history right now.
We are, and it is silly season, and the changing of the name of the Washington Redskins. I'm not a Native American, so I don't understand why that would offend. I don't know if they can find another way to honor the Native Americans by including, that name in the Washington mascot. But the Redskins are going to have to change their name because there's too many sponsorships that have withdrawn, and they've already made that decision. Now they're just trying to figure out what the heck they're going to do. And the Eyes of Texas. Now, you may disagree with this one, but the Eyes of Texas are now, they're wanting to take away that school song of the University of Texas and declaring it to be a racist song. It's just, again, things are getting sillier and sillier the further we get into this.
Yeah, they are. Well, we got Con on the line. You want to go to Con?
Yeah, sure. Let's give it Con. Good morning, Con. You there?
Yeah.
Go ahead. We've got about a minute here. Go ahead.
Well, I've got a question for your audience. Are we all going to stand with our hand over our heart when they play the Black national anthem at the NFL football games now? Can we see that they are a country black from white? And when will the next Civil War start?
I'll tell you what, Con, I've seen my last NFL football game in person, and I've watched my last one on television. And the only way I would be coerced into going to one of those events if I had a family member that was participating in a band or, a football player or cheerleader, and I would be going to support them. But I will no longer support the NFL. And I tell you what, I'm going to have a hard time supporting the University of Texas football if they continue down this road. I just can't do it.
Well, how do you support the University of Texas on any road? I mean, there's a bunch of communists and Marxists over there that's trying to convert our young people to communism. So how do we support that?
Well, you know what? You can say that about every single college campus. I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to find one, even at Texas A&M. They're trying to tear down statues at Texas A&M. And, that's a very conservative college. So it's across the board. It is, granted, it's silly season, folks. Appreciate your call, Con. Thank you, Shane. Everybody tune in to Weekend Logic with Shane Kearns. And I'll be back on the radio again next Saturday morning. Thanks for listening. I'm attorney Ed Laughlin.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work. Sorry, I'm late. Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working.
Who, me?
Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop.
Wait.
Text and be late to work.
Sorry, I'm late.
Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working.
Who, me?
Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.